Welcome back, everyone, to the Sacramento Kings MyLeague. Today, we're going to be doing our first prospect profile where we look around college basketball, see some players we could draft. I would have been doing these earlier in the series, but since the NCAA 2K rosters weren't out, and they're still not out, I had to do some maneuvering. It was pretty annoying. So today, we're going to be looking at front court, mainly power forwards and centers, and we're going to start with probably the most hyped up and talked about player in this draft class. And how I like to say, this guy can go upstairs where grandma hides the cookies. His name is Zion Williamson. Probably going to be a top 5 pick. He's more of a wing than a big man, but there are so many good players at the wing positions that I just figured I'd have to put him here because there's not many lottery projected big men. Zion is very raw, not a great shooter yet, but he obviously is an athletic freak of nature. The next guy we're going to be looking at is the son of the great Shaquille O'Neal, and that is going to be Sharif O'Neal from UCLA. He's not the dominant president that his father is, but he is obviously much leaner, much skinnier, probably not as much of an offensive post presence, but he has a little bit of a jumper. He can shoot the mid-range, he can shoot the three, solid defender, pretty athletic. I would say he's probably going to be a late first-round pick. The next guy we will be looking at is from Missouri. He is the younger, or twin brother. I think he's the younger brother of new Denver Nuggets small forward, Michael Porter Jr. His name is Jonte Porter. He was going to declare last year for the draft, but decided to stay in school. He is probably going to be a mid-first round pick. He can play small forward, he can play power forward, he can play center, and he's probably going to be the star of this Missouri team now that his brother, who played a whopping 5 games or whatever, is gone. Next up, we're going to be sticking with the SEC as we have one of the more talented sophomores of the bunch, and his name is Daniel Gafford, perhaps the best sophomore in this draft. He is a projected late first-round pick. I think he will be picked higher than that. I expect his draft stock to go up. Gafford has been playing really well this year at Arkansas, shown a lot of growth and development. That sounded like something totally different. And I expect him to be a really solid contributor in the NBA. Next up, we will be looking at the defending champion Villanova Wildcats as we look at power forward Eric Paschall. Paschall has a jump shot. He's a pretty good shooter. He is the only one of Villanova's starting 5 of the national championship to return to college, as the other 4 are in the NBA. I expect him to be an early second-round pick, probably not a first-round pick, but he could be a really nice value pick for someone looking for a spot-up shooter in the second round. Next up, we will find a Western Kentucky Hilltopper. His name is Charles Abasi. He will be a first-round pick. He could be a late lottery pick, maybe a mid or late first-round pick. I would expect late teens, early 20s. Abasi is a talented overall player. He's pretty athletic. He's a solid offensive and defensive player, but he doesn't specialize in one category, I guess, but he's pretty well-rounded. The next guy we have here is an LSU Tiger. His name is Nez Reed. He is a big fella. He is going to be at latest a mid-first rounder, maybe a lottery selection. Phenomenal rebounder, phenomenal post presence. Doesn't really have much of a mid-range or three-point jumper yet, but he's still working on that, and I think that in his 5th or 6th season, he may have a pretty decent jump shot. The next guy we'll be looking at comes from West Virginia. He is a Mountaineer. His name is Sagaba Konate. He is by far the best shot blocker in all of college basketball. He is a phenomenal shot blocker. He is really, really good on the defensive end of the court, and some team can get a really nice value pick out of him. The next guy we have here is the son of Manute Bol. His name is Bol. Manute Bol was 7 feet 7 inches, tied for the tallest player in the NBA. Bol probably won't be 7'7", but he's not too much shorter than that, probably about 7'3", 7'4" by now. Bol has adapted to the modern NBA. He has a jump shot, unlike his father, but that's because his father played in the 1990s. Bol can certainly shoot the mid-range, and he can also shoot the three. The last guy we have here is one of the more interesting players in the draft. His name is Bruno Fernando. He can play both the power forward and the center position. He could be a lottery pick. He could be a second-round pick. We don't really know about his stock. He is an extremely raw prospect, but he has a lot of upside, pretty athletic, pretty solid in the post. Does need to work on his fundamentals and his potentially a jumper because he doesn't really have a jump shot yet. So that'll pretty much do it for the prospect profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.